Well, hello there, YouTube, and welcome to a 54-degree Friday the 28th of March. It has been pouring down rain all day long, like nasty pouring. It stopped probably about an hour ago. I've been out there tinkering around with the Pan America trying to level out the top case. I'm about 2.5 degrees from being perfectly level with the bags, but going any higher, it's exposing the rear bracket, and I don't like that look. So, I mean, if you sit there and stare at it, you can tell that the rear top case is a little, flatter, essentially, than the side case, but it's close enough that it doesn't stand out like it was. So I'm just, it's on the center stand. That's not true to the world, but comparison between the bags and the top case, it's exactly 10-degree forward slant on the bags, and I'm about 7.5 degrees forward slant on the top case. I'm just looking all around, not paying attention where the camera's at. I'm on the Osmo, and it's got, like a postage stamp sized viewfinder on the back of it. But man, it's really nice right now. It's 54 out here now. It started out 46 degrees. Thought you always watching to see what I'm doing, huh? Do you like the flowers too? Either you coyote chasing crazy dog. He wasn't chasing me, just do a flyby. It's the funniest thing. Look at all these things budding in. Isn't that something? Man, going to work yesterday, it's crazy how much stuff is turning green, off the side of the freeway and stuff. Just like from one day to the next. It's crazy. Still hear the gutters dripping and draining out there. It's just been pouring. Click, 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 click. Hi, buddy. Man, this grass is really getting like junglified. Look how tall that is. I mean, that's over a foot tall. Look at that compared to Danny walking through there. But next weekend, it's supposed to be in the high 60s, low 70s. Hi, Sachi. You never moved. I went around, you stood still. What you think, Shishi? Look at all that in there. That just grows really, really thick right there. Glad that the sun came out. That's very nice. Well, let me go in there and I'll show you what I've done to the top case there. Hello, my little girls. Poor Kelly's. Oh, I put the tab and the registration finally in the back of the thing, so we don't get a ticket. Now I've only got 6 more months, or roughly, till I have to replace the tabs again. But there's a very distinct flat look compared to this. I'm walk on the other side here and show you a visual, get a distance to it, and you can see, if you pay attention, there's ever so slight drop, what looks like a drop to the bag, but it was perfectly flat looking before. So I kicked it up, and that brace that comes up has a big bracket that goes across the bottom, and then the mounting plate for the bag sits on that. Well, I've lifted it up enough that it's you're starting to see the bracket, and I don't want it to look any more than what it does. But I don't, with the bags on there, it doesn't just jump out at you. You ever see the old Harleys, the old touring bikes where the rear trunk looks like it's falling off the back? It's like somebody leaned on it too much and bent all the brackets and everything's about looks like it's just going to roll off the back. And what was it, the Yamaha, I forget it, part of the Eluders, whatever the touring one was. I don't think they called it a Venture anymore, but the one with full bags, man, the bags, it just has that look. I don't know, there's something about that look that just absolutely drives me nuts. I can't, just, nope, not having it. And but anyway, that's so gradual that I'll be perfectly happy with that. I found more hardware and stuff because, needless to say, the stock bolts aren't long enough. Yeah, you can start to see the bracket starting to. In fact, I can stick my finger underneath there. I put that much of a gap in it. And the plate, it rolls over, so it's kind of hiding it. And I just don't want to go anymore. I can zero it out. I got enough room. I got spacers that'll work. I just like, nope, I don't want that bracket to, I don't want people to walk, up from behind it or be driving behind me and going, what the heck's going on with all that bracketry underneath there? But, yeah, I'm happy with that. You can see the slight, ever so slight, 2.5 degrees. I mean, you literally have to be looking for it to see it. Oh, Pan America. Oh, I did. I don't know if I told you, but, well, I knew I didn't put that clamp back, but the clamp was nowhere near touching the tank. It was still over the metal ring that holds the, the whole top of the, I think is the pump attached to that? No, pump's underneath it. It's the ring that holds the whole cap area up there. It was right by that, and it was pointing up, so it was no threat of hitting anything. Guess there's little spots here and there. Riding in the rain. There's a little bit underneath the rear trunk when I had it off when I was doing my spacing. But I'm very happy with that. Perfect. Super happy with it. Look at that. One day out there riding, the bugs get on it. That's one thing about these big old bags hanging out the side. It's like the fenders on Flirty. Man, it is absolutely the most bug collecting thing ever. Plus you got all the air, rushing around the bike, and you're basically forcing stuff to it. You're getting the same thing with Flirty. Between the shield and everything else, you got this big rush of air coming around, and man, it just pulls the bugs in. Makes a big old mess. Was there something else I did? Oh, I don't think I talked to you guys about that, but I rebooted the Chiggy. And what irritated me when I done that, when I rebooted it, it deletes the CarPlay settings that you have in your phone, and I had to literally repair the phone to it. And when you hit CarPlay the first time, you get that thing saying, just a couple authorizations. And I think it's just part of the pairing with it. But anyway, when you reboot that thing, you lose that. Love it when it does that. That was another thing this morning. It's crazy windy. But, geez. That was a strong gust. Even rattled the big garage door there. Yeah, deleted the CarPlay pairing with it. Well, when you do that, I have my maps and stuff all sorted out. And that got all unsorted. Super happy with the way that thing works. Very clear, just unbelievably clear, crystal sharp, really sharp maps. This has got a very easy to read, very detailed display, but the built-in maps from Harley in there doesn't have the highest resolution. So I mean, it's perfect for what you're doing, but I don't know. I mean, it does work. I do, like I said, if you do your planning using the web-based software. Just go to harleydavidson.com. You go right to the software for it. and then that will automatically, because you're logged into your Harley account, that automatically shows up on your phone, and any routes that you plan shows up on the display there. It works better for routing than just letting it run. You know, I like to let a map just run in the background without navigation, because you see what's all around you. It's like when I don't remember what app I was using when I took you guys around the neighborhood, so to speak. Oh, fall on my head here. I'm leaning on the bike, my elbow slipped. But where you can see all the lakes and, you know, the different colors of land and where the rivers are flowing and everything. I absolutely love seeing that. You know, with the GSA, I did that with the what do they call it? The boom audio. What Harley call their navigation thing on their bikes? Whatever it is. I know it's boom something or another. But anyway, what's with Harleys? You always gotta lube the side stands. Always. It's the craziest thing. It doesn't matter. It's all their pegs always squeak, and they come from the factory with nothing on them. Like the rear pegs and stuff, like on the Street Glides and Road King, I take them off and just I do the same thing with the BMWs and stuff when I'm doing services, but they got a little pin that clips. That's really easy to take them apart and just put a little white lithium grease in there. It doesn't attract so much dust and grime and stuff, and it's highly water resistant. But they got these nice little plates and everything that, you know, that guide them through there so it doesn't wear anything out. It works really well, but why do you put them on there dry? They're always dry, just like these. Oh, they're using, is that clips or is that a nut? Oh, no, they're using clips in there. I guess Harley's been doing that. Yeah, it's just like the BMWs. See the metal that goes all in there? So it shimmed really well. But listen to it. It's just dry. Just things like that move and are dry. Makes you wonder why. You know, another thing I haven't done that I do with every Harley. I haven't done that yet with this. I need to knock the axles out and grease them. I grease them with anti-seize. That's what Harley and BMW uses. That's what I'm going to use. And it's extremely water resistant, and it stays on there really good. You know, even waterproof grease, if you get it wet enough, it starts to liquefy, sort of. It just turns into something else. It's still working as grease, but the anti-seize, it's just, years later you can pull an axle out and it's got the grease still on there. Works really, really well. But anyway, very nice. I see my bell rattling around down there. Super happy with how the bags came out. That's been bugging me. You know, the funny thing is, I never noticed it. Not once did I notice it. But that first ride, Kelly and I went out this year, and we stopped at that old bridge way out there by Riderwood, going out that way. And we stopped at that bridge, and I was looking over the edge, and I turned around looking back at the bikes, and I go, what the heck? I thought something was wrong. And I realized, I go, no, that bag is absolutely level. When the bike's level on the ground, the bag is perfectly level, which is fine, but side bags aren't that way. Almost never are they that way. They always kind of point downhill. I always just figured it must be some kind of a wind thing to create a little wing at the back for whatever it amounts to. But anyway, there's always a slant to them. But, you know, make them both the same. Doug Morgan commented, he goes, a lot of the bags are that way. And I go, yeah, I think I've actually seen that before too. And it just sticks out. Can't stand a drooping top case. But anyway, just out here tinkering around with this. Kelly didn't go in this morning. Last night, and she was trying to keep a pretty good straight face. We left about an hour early yesterday because she was just miserable. And the whole way home, she just had her, hand, her face in her hand, leaning against the armrest there, and just slept the whole way home. She was miserable. It just started kicking in at work, and basically that flu and cold and stuff has gone to her lungs, so she's all stopped up and just miserable. So she's been resting and pretty much sleeping all day today, which is good for her. So she's got the whole weekend to continue doing just that. Rest is like the best thing for that kind of stuff. But she was doing so good when we went to work yesterday. I think it, and I know the feeling too, is when I went back on Tuesday, about halfway through the day, I'm going, wow, maybe I should have taken one more day. But I made it through. I did something to my back. We stopped for gas last night, and when everything was fine, I go to step out of the car, and it's like somebody jabbed me in the back with an ice pick. I must have twisted wrong doing the alignment on that Spyder, or maybe doing all the alignments, in a row like that. I don't know how many I've done here in the last few days, and you go most of the winter and hardly doing any of them, and all of a sudden you got a whole stack of them all of a sudden. There's a couple of customers, and then the F3T, both the Canyons, and then of course yesterday I did that one on the RT. But it's nice to get one that's off, and I hate that they've been riding it. Of course, it's a new used bike to the owner. I got to meet him when he was picking the thing up. I'd already turned the paperwork in, so he'd already paid, and he's just waiting for me to return after a test ride. And he come out there, and we chatted for a bit. And he had a 2016 RT Limited, and I did alignment on it. And it was right before he went to the run to the wall that they do every year. And he goes, and the tires were old, but they were in good shape. And he did that trip, which is like 8,000 or 9,000 miles. And he goes, man, the tires were done by the time I got back. It was great. It was aligned and everything is perfect. But he goes, I think the tires were just too old and didn't like that trip. Oh, speaking of tires, this is gonna spin some of you guys up. The new XPS tires that they're running on the 25 Spyders, a bulletin came out, and those are not they're not backwards compatible, not even to 2024, because they came out with these new tires that's supposed to last a whole lot longer, but still have all the traction and whatever to them. But I don't know the details. They may be a stiffer sidewall. I'd have to, have one off the rim, a bare tire, to see what the difference is. But the VSS calibration for 24 and prior are not for those tires. It is a science with these things. That's why I freak out about the car tires. Well, I'm assuming it's supposed to be an improved ride experience, which I noticed the first one I rode was that F3 that had those tires on. You guys remember, I just made it around the corner from the shop there, and I immediately felt the difference with the tires. They even have a different sound going down the road. It's very pleasing, actually. So it's supposed to be a much better ride, and they're supposed to last way better. So, the calibration for the vehicle stability control is different for those tires. So we are not to put them on a 24 or prior. They're for 2025s only, which is a good thing because the service director ordered, because we go through a ton of tires, ordered just pallets of Spyder tires. And I mean, we'll go through them things in no time. A lot of Spyders come to our store, and but luckily he was all mad at first that he goes, man, nobody's going to want these old tires, and they're going to sit and they're going to get too old. and we're going to be in trouble. Well, as it turns out, they're not going to sit and get old because he doesn't have to order a bunch of XPS tires. However, if you have a Riker, the Rikers are using the new XPS tires too, but they're different, totally different size tires than a Spyder. But they're backwards compatible all the way to the original 2019 F3. So I was going to say something about that yesterday and never did. You're going to have the criers over that. Why, it's stupid. Why would they do that? You always get those simple-minded negative Nellies out there that just go buck wily. It's not safe for them. They're calibrated. It's not like they're, got the beads that don't fit like a car tire on a motorcycle wheel. That's not the problem. It's the calibration for the VSS. And I've never seen anything where we can reflash a calibration and something like that, a safety feature. That's why they absolutely trip out about car tires on Spyders. I even did some testing. I won't go into details, but I did some testing for BRP. Somebody from BRP called, wanted to talk to me and wanted to know if I happen to have a Spyder in there with car tires on it. And I said, yeah, and it's the ones that the car tires that most people put on there, because somewhere on the internet they said that's what you do. And so I got a BRP Tech status. They gave me a code under my login so I could see all these crazy things, and did all these kind of shaking around. I did a whole bunch of tests for them. They had a whole outline of tests, and so there's basically going to be like a recall or some kind of a bulletin that was going to be sent out to owners about using the car tires. But I don't know, somehow or another, through the legal stuff or whatever, they decided not to do it. But I did a bunch of tests, and it was the result just actually shaking a Spyder, grabbing it by the rear handrails and just violently shaking it. Man, there's a lot of stuff in buds that we don't see or get to, but anyway, the differences was pretty astonishing. There's a huge difference. Well, all I gotta do is take one for a ride and I can show you the shocking difference. All it's got to be is a little damp out there. When it's super hot and dry, other than having a kind of a rougher, noisier ride, they feel like they're plastic, because they're not for a 1,000 pound. Well, the heaviest Spyder is the RT. Well, now the Canyon Red Rock, it's, I don't know, 30 pounds heavier. The Red Rock is, and I didn't compare the XT or something like that. I know the Red Rock's gonna be more. Them shocks and stuff gotta definitely weigh more. Got some high tech shocks on that thing. But there's a difference. Just don't even why it's, like I say, it's just people being cheap. Which, it's kind of, you get that with the BMW people every once in a while. You buy literally dang near one of the most expensive motorcycles out there, and they buy cheap stuff for it. Or they'll put cheap parts on it, cheap air filters, cheap oil filters, the wrong oil, cheesy, aftermarket tires. I call them aftermarket because there's real tires and there's cheap tires. It's crazy what you see. Or they refuse to do certain services and stuff. I'm not doing that. It doesn't need that. Well, dude, when I would build the service, BMW also knows that you did not do that, because that gets unchecked from your service. So you're just leaving a history of knucklehead behind. Anyway, my scanner thing works really good. The only thing, I don't see anything. I don't know if it has to get to that 2-year mark when that mandatory, or you get the little gear icon on your dash and it's telling you need to take it to the dealer to have it flushed. And the reason they're doing that is because people will just try to do a little homemade flush on those things without running the pump and stuff like that. And they're not getting flushed correctly, and they're just like they're afraid that somebody's going to get hurt. And of course, you know how that goes. They get hurt, and of course, it's Harley's fault that they got hurt because they didn't follow the maintenance. But anyway, I do it, and that program does run the pump. So, you know, I can do the proper brake flush on it, just like I can with that little thing I bought for doing the BMWs. The little Android phone and the wireless ODB2 and all that kind of cool stuff. But yeah, I can do all that stuff. I can reset adaptive values, and I can correct if the speedo's off. I can correct that, and there's all kinds of stuff in that. That's the most comprehensive scanner thing for the money I've come across yet. Anyway, I'm gonna roll with that. I done yammered on a whole vlog out here, and the heater just came on. It's time to go. Well, hello there, YouTube. Well, a little foo bug wasn't quite done with Kelly just yet.
Nope, not yet.
All went to her lungs, and I think she even kicked up a little fever this morning. So she got 3 days to rest. She'll be good by then.
Yes, please.
I go in there, couldn't find her. She sits in this one chair in the living room that usually has like blankets and pillows and stuff just sitting on it. Well, she was sitting in that chair, and I'm like, Kelly? And I hear, what? She was there asleep. I thought she was just the clump of stuff sitting on that chair.
Yeah.
What do you want? I was asleep. Sorry. Couldn't find you. You weren't outside. You weren't in none of the rooms. So you got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
But anyway. Ooh, it's cooling off quite quickly, though.
Yes.
I love all the colors and stuff are popping in around. And getting a nice sunset. Sunset's at 7:35. It's like 7:20 something now. Where you at, son?
It's behind
Clouds and mountains or something. Let's have it. But anyway, I think on that we'll make the goodbye short and sweet. I just called her running out to get something out of the shop fridge and said, "Hey, let's do a bye." She goes, "All right." Here we are.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We will talk to you tomorrow. Same smoke time, same smoke channel. Don't forget to give a thumbs up, and you guys have an amazing Saturday or Sunday.
Heck yeah. All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
See
Hopefully,
you then.
next weekend's going to be nice. Like
Yeah.
near 70.
That'd be nice.
Yep. That'd be good. Get the lawn cut and sneak a ride or two in.
Yeah. There we go.
All right. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.